Right, Jace, here we are, first day of training. Just explain to me, first of all, why you decide to start today.
Good, that's a good question to start with, John. Basically, if you look at it, we had what, 10, 11 months last season of high tempo, high intensity football with quite not that larger squad. So if you look at the games that Stevie Elliott played, Alan Bennett and the likes of that, they played a high number of games. So what we decided to do was give them an extended rest break of 5 to 6 weeks, and then from that we knew they'd be still fit. If we'd come back 2 weeks earlier, they've had 3-4 weeks off. That would have recovered them from the hard season they had. And don't forget, when they went away, we told them 3 weeks complete rest, and then they started back training. So they've been actually training for 2.5 weeks prior to that with individual programs that we designed from at the end of last season.
Right, they all come back looking in good shape?
They've all come back excellent today. We've done a lot of fartlek today, a lot of course work today, and a lot of stretching and dynamic stuff like that to ensure that tomorrow and next week we'll be flying into the football.
Yeah, can you just sort of summarise how it builds up now towards the first friendly and then the first competitive game?
Well, because of the longer break we took off to rest the players and make sure they're right for the season, if we started earlier, our worry was Christmas time we could get burnout because of the long season we had last season. So what we're looking at now is high intensity, high tempo from tomorrow onwards. We've got a fitness test at Oxtall's, University of Gloucester. After the fitness test there, we look at the results, put individual programs in so they have double treble sessions a day. From that, we've got high tempo, high intensity sessions. We're looking at changing the program from last pre-season, which was successful. I remember people complained because, sorry, the trains weren't behind us there. We didn't beat Stourbridge because we'd done 800 metres the day before, but it was geared, all our programs geared for the first game of the season and the continuing season rather than the pre-season friendlies. We want to play well then and we want to win them. However, it's all about the season and competitive football. Yeah. So what we're doing is we've designed the programme with that in mind. We've designed high tempo, high intensity. Next week we'll be looking at endurance and speed endurance. The week after we'll be looking at speed work and agility. And from that point onwards we'll be looking at really improving the VO2 max of the players. So come the first game of the season they'll be high tempo and ready to go. Because the free-flowing style Mark has developed here, we need players who are super fit, athletes, not like before when in the early 90s, 2000s, when every player was 6'6" and built like a bodybuilder. We've gone a different route. We go in high tempo, high intensity, and playing a good brand of football. Yeah. And that's what everything's designed around.
Right, you've been back at the club for a year now, haven't you, Jason? You seem to have a bit of a golden touch because when you first came in, the team got promoted, stayed up. You were back involved last season. Very good injury record again. I know you and Ian Weston put a lot of preparation into that to try and avoid the avoidable injuries. So what can you do this season to have another sort of almost a clean bill of health?
I think I'm lucky to work with 2 good managers in John Ward, well 3 good managers really, Keith Down and John Ward and Mark. So it's about working as a team and the management staff together. So what we've done is every detail is done as a staff. So I've got my input, Steve Book, Ian Weston, Neil Howarth, and everyone's got an input into improving what we do. The injury record that's why the length and time off we've had, the injury record is important. So because of the small squad we've got, and because the chairman's done brilliant and the board have done brilliant with the budget changes this and that. However, we still got to compete with big spenders in this league. We've got massive squads, so we've got to ensure our best players are on the park most of the time, if not all the time. And if you look last year, we had a couple of injuries with Stevie Elliott coming in after the Tottenham game with his calf injury, and we've had a couple of others, but we had 90% of the key players on the pitch for 90% of the time. So that's down to planning, preparation and looking at the minute detail. We've also gone further this season with other links we've developed over the summer. Neil Howarth and myself have been scouring for different inputs to do it, and we've got a few tricks up our sleeve now ready for the season in what we can do. Obviously looking at the limited budget we've got and just trying to pull rabbits out of the hat.
Yeah, what can you tell me about the Alter G running machine? Because I know Steve Elliott's going to be having a go on that, and maybe some of the other senior players.
What we're looking at is some of the senior players like Steve Elliott, Alan Bennett. We're trying to minimise the impact they've got with running on hard grounds, or if you continue run, if you're doing sprint work, you're looking at 2.5 times your body weight going onto the ground. So the impact on shuddering work for the body is high. people like Stevie Elliott, it takes them longer to repair because of the age. So what you're looking at is getting your best players on the pitch. So the 3G lifts you up, minimises your weight on the ground. You can run faster doing that, and it's really minimising the impact on the joints of the body. Other tricks we've got up our sleeve, we use a lot of triathlon based training, where we're looking at high intensity, using bikes around the area. We're doing things differently, and we're thinking not just in a linear way, that the old fashioned way of you've got to run on this, that and the other, or say everything's got to be with the ball. We're looking at other concepts and bringing that forward, and the stuff that Neil and myself looked at for this season to impact are going to be massive beneficial.
Yeah, and a bit of running at the Prince of Wales. You're going to be doing that at the stadium.
Yeah, we'll be doing a bit of that. We've gone up the racing track and using the racing track to do that as well. And we'll be also, like today, the first day back, we've got them built in so that they're ready for tomorrow for the fitness testing, ready for every day we plan is geared to the start of the season, the middle of the season, at the end of the season. We want fresh legs like we had at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And we've got to manage that throughout the season, and now is the key point in building the bases and the foundations to do that. It's like the pyramid structure. It's like building a house. If you don't have the foundations right, you can't build up and you can't do anything right.
Yeah.